Hey, good evening and welcome everybody. It's great to have you here this evening. I'm going to turn it over first and foremost to Myra, who's going to talk about translation services.
Hola, me llamo Mayra y yo voy a estar aquí interpretando lo que están diciendo las maestras que están aquí.
Okay, great. Thank you, Myra. So, as I said, good evening. Thank you all for coming. I know that this is an exciting time in some of your lives. It's also maybe a little bit of a scary time as you're thinking about sending your 3 or your 4-year-old off into the real world, and it might be it might also be a little bit sad. Either way, it's a milestone. It's one to be celebrated, and it's also one that represents a bit of change and growth in your family. So thank you for being here and allowing us to share that with you. I remember it well. It seems like just yesterday that I was sending my college-age daughter off to the Early Childhood Center in Salem to the teachers that we have here tonight. And so I can speak personally to their skill set and warmth and wonderfulness. So why don't we all take a moment to introduce ourselves, and then we'll jump right into the slide presentation. Alicia?
Hi, good evening. My name is Alicia Smerlian. I'm the team chair for the Early Childhood Center.
Raylene?
Hi, my name is Raylene Randazza. I am a special education teacher at the Early Childhood Center.
Susan?
Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Crimble. I am also a special education teacher at the Early Childhood Center.
And Myra, I think you introduced yourself, but I'll let you do it again. Watching her lips go, okay. Okay, great. And I'm Leanne Smith, and I am the principal here at the Salem Early Childhood Center. I'm thrilled to be here. This is my first year as principal, and really excited to tell everybody I am finally getting a chance to live out my dream job. So welcome. We have a slide presentation for you tonight that we are going to go through with you. It just tells you a little bit about a day in the life of a student at the Early Childhood Center, and tells you a little bit or a lot, hopefully, about what happens at the Salem Early Childhood Center. As we go through the slideshow, I want everybody to feel comfortable to put up their hand if they have any questions. Alicia, can I ask you to kind of help me monitor those questions?
Absolutely.
I'm going to let Myra catch up. Okay. Okay, so we'll jump in. Like I said, feel free to stop along the way if you have questions, but then at the end, we'll open it up for a question and answer time. I'm going to share my screen right now. And we will jump in. And as I said, welcome. This is the Salem Early Childhood Family Information Meeting. And here we go. We'll go right through. I wanted to start with a quote that I think is really significant as we think about educating Salem's youngest children. And it is, if children feel safe, they can take risks, ask questions, make mistakes, learn to trust, share their feelings, and grow. And that's by Alfie Kohn. I think that's a really important quote to just reflect on for a moment and think about what we do at the very beginning of a child's education. Ensure that they are safe, they feel safe, but also feel comfortable taking risks, ask questions. So, they learn to be inquisitive and also know that it's okay to make mistakes. We learn from our mistakes. We have trust in each other, so it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to share our feelings. And ultimately, that's just how we grow into the independent people that we all want our children to grow into. Okay, Alicia?
So at the Early Childhood Center, we are an integrated preschool. And an integrated preschool, as you know, I can read from the screen here, it really is a preschool where students with disabilities learn alongside typically developing peers. We often have students that are found eligible based on the severity or their level of need to be in our program. With our teachers, as they were introduced earlier, having special education certification to teach them alongside typically developing peers. And I'll continue to read. It says, you know, research suggests that combining students with disabilities with age-appropriate, typically developing peers has important implications for both groups of children. And we've certainly seen that here at the ECC. All students learn acceptance and sensitivity, as well as positive social interactions and play behavior. Students learn to work and play together in a school community that reflects the real world.
Thank you. Okay, just some basic logistics also as we're going along here. These are just sort of the housekeeping pieces. Our hours are 8:30 to 2:30 for our full day. We have class sizes that are capped at 15 students, and our staff to student ratio is either a, sorry, that's not a 1 to 2. I'm sorry, that's a, it's either 1 to 15. Sorry about that. It's either 2 to 15 or 3 to 15. That is realizing is a typo. So our staff to student ratio is either 2 staff members to 15 children or 3 staff members to 15 children. Snack and lunch are provided, but students may bring their own. And we do have a short quiet time for rest if a student needs it. Okay, Alicia, it's you again.
Oh, great, thank you. So, so at the Early Childhood Center, you know, we our focus is to learn, or for children to learn, for children to play, and for children to grow. With regards to learning, you know, they're learning letter skills, letter sounds, rhyming, book handling and comprehension skills, number skills, counting, sorting, and measurement. This all ties in with the standards too for preschool. In play, we have dramatic play, we have a block area, science area, sand and water table in the classroom. There's a book area to really focus on those book handling skills as mentioned before, writing area, manipulatives to help with the learning. And with growing, there's, you know, the social emotional curriculum that's tied into the everyday lessons, which focuses on identifying feelings, making friends, asking for help, paying attention, sharing, and of course, waiting your turn.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay. Our curriculum. This year, we are excited to say that we adopted for the first time a curriculum for our preschool and our pre-K. It's called the 3 Cheers for pre-K curriculum. And it includes skill-based experiences, multisensory activities, purposeful play through monthly themes that are super engaging, themes like farm to table, which we are in right now, all about me, transportation, seasons. It includes high quality literature and math activities, science and social studies, and also a health component. So students can participate in this curriculum either in a large group, instruction happens in small group as well, and sometimes instruction happens on a one-to-one basis depending on the needs of a student. Teachers match their instruction to meet the needs of all students in the end. So it really is a curriculum that covers all content areas and includes an opportunity for social emotional learning, an opportunity for play, and an opportunity for health. Okay,
So-
Raylene.
Yeah, so along with all our wonderful teachers and paraprofessionals at the Early Childhood Center, we have a lot of specialists specifically trained to work with this age group. We have our own speech therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, BCBA. We have our own social worker who actually comes into our classroom and works on our social and emotional curriculum with us and the students. We have our own nurse and school psychologist, and new this year, which has been wonderful, is we have our own art teacher and gym teacher. So the art teacher comes into the classroom and does a 45-minute lesson with the students, and the gym teacher takes the children sometimes out of the classroom, outside when the weather's nice, and does a lot of movement and exercise and gets those preschool wiggles out. So it's great to have them on board this year.
Love those preschool wiggles. Okay, a typical day. So the next few slides are going to take you through a typical day at the center, and kind of you can have a chance to experience what it's like to be a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old at the Early Childhood Center.
So every day, our students are greeted by their teachers at the door very enthusiastically. And to refer to the quote that Mrs. Smith had started with, one of the things she mentioned was for children to feel safe in school. And we want to make sure that children come to school at arrival time and feel safe and welcome coming into their school environment. So we greet them at the door. We're happy to see them. We welcome everyone. We acknowledge everyone and make sure they all feel special. And then we come into school and students learn independence and their self-help skills right from the get-go. They come in, they have their own cubbies. They learn responsibility for taking care of their own belongings and taking care of all the things in their backpacks by putting them away in their cubby. And we start the day either with small activities at the table or right away with breakfast. This is all right at the beginning. It just depends on each individual classroom. And it's really, arrival sounds like a little thing. You just get to school, but it's actually, it encompasses everything. It's a whole learning experience. And it's a fun part of the day.
Thank you. It's my favorite part of the day.
Yes.
Morning meeting and circle time.
Yeah, so usually after arrival and breakfast, the students head to morning meeting and circle time. This is usually where their first introduction to our new curriculum takes place. Every student gets greeted by the teacher. We do a little attendance and name recognition. So we may hold up their name card. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, my fault.
Hold up their name card and see if they can identify their name. We're talking about the letters of their name, the sounds of their name. Can they identify their friends' names? We usually sing a welcome song or a song that is theme-based. Like Mrs. Smith said, we're doing farm to table this month. So a lot of songs about farming and markets and shopping. We also do calendar, which encompasses the month, the day, the year. A lot of counting and math skills are learned when we do calendar, as well as weather. We're looking outside. We're talking about seasons. We're talking about appropriate clothing during that time. A lot of lessons go on during morning meeting and circle time. And then of course there's time to share. Everybody loves to tell us what they had for breakfast or what they did over the weekend. So it's a really nice social time too for all the students.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, time to eat.
Sorry, this slide is pretty self-explanatory. We like to eat in preschool. And we have free breakfast and lunch, which is provided at the school. And our students are obviously welcome to bring their own snack or lunch if they choose to do so. We all eat together. And again, we're working on our independence skills and self-help skills, and also our communication skills while we're eating. And again, it's another time that we're learning, always learning.
Thank you. Okay, the next slide is story time. And throughout the day, children have an opportunity to hear stories in all different ways. Sometimes the stories are related to the themes that we're learning about in the classroom. And sometimes they are books that our teachers just love to read, and they read them for the fun of reading. And oftentimes students hear stories where they have a chance to see themselves in the stories. And also have a chance to learn about others. We call those windows and mirrors books. And that's an opportunity where students can read a book or have a book read to them where they look at it and they see themselves in the story. Their cultures are represented, their family dynamics are represented. But oftentimes they also have a chance to hear a story that causes them to sort of look through a window and see something that they don't know about, see somebody else's life, somebody else's culture, and somebody else's family dynamics. So that is something we ordered a whole bunch of new books this year that represent cultural proficiency. So we are really excited about that. Okay, Literacy Circle.
So at Literacy Circle, this is part of our 3 Cheers curriculum again. This is when students are gathered in a large group and we're talking about alphabet knowledge. We focus on a different letter and their sounds every week. So we talk about the letter, we talk about words that start with that letter, we talk about the sound and practice the sound that it makes. We discuss upper and lowercase letters. We're also working on phonemic awareness. We do a lot of rhyming. And this is when we bring out the vocabulary that is usually connected with the theme. So the kids are practicing and learning new words. We're talking about the definition of those words and how to use them in sentences and how we use them in our everyday life or within the theme that we're talking about. So that's.
I'm going to jump in. Thank you, Elaine. Jump in for 1 second. There is a question. If it's okay, I'm going to hold off on this question until the end. It's sort of a logistical question. So if it's okay, I'm just going to hold off on that for just a couple of minutes. So we will jump back to that. Okay, math time.
Math time, math. Math is embedded throughout the entire day, and it's also part of our 3 Cheers curriculum. And during math time, we learn about number sense. We learn about rote counting, which is counting from 1 to 10 or as high as we go. We learn about one-to-one correspondence, which is counting objects or maybe claps or different motor movements and putting a number to each one that we do. We work on number identification and learning all about shapes and noticing them in our environment. We learn about measurement. We compare lengths, for example. We may measure things, pumpkins comes to mind. We may measure different pumpkins sizes and then look at the lengths of the string and look and see what, the measurement differences are there, for example. Right now, we're learning about subtraction, and on the chart there on the screen, it says addition and subtraction. And right now we're actually learning the phrase takeaway as part of our curriculum. Children are working on what it means to take 1 away from 5 or 2 away from 5. And we do this in the classroom with objects, or we do it with movement. We do it with the children. We really embed many different ways of learning math in the classroom. We do a lot of sorting and classifying of objects, by many different ways: color, shape, size, all different attributes. And also part of the curriculum, we're learning about patterns and how we can make them, recognize them, and then expand on them. And basically we connect math to everyday life. And math is everywhere in the classroom, and it also ties to other areas of the learning, the curriculum, such as literacy. And one example I wanted to share was the calendar, which Mrs. Randazza spoke of earlier. When we do calendar, it's not just to see what day it is. We count on the calendar, and the children go from left to right, counting the numbers and get to the end and start on the next line. And doing that return sweep, kids are learning pre-reading and pre-writing concepts. And they're also crossing the midline of their body. So that helps them in the future. So that's just one example. Math is everywhere. It's tied into all aspects of the classroom and different activities we do. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you, Susan. Centers.
So centers are some of the things that we do in smaller groups. So we do math centers and we do literacy centers throughout the day. So this is a time where students can practice their skills. Like in the math centers, Mrs. Crimble was talking about, we would do some counting games. We would do use some counting manipulatives to do one-on-one correspondence where each child would touch each object and count them as they touch them. We would practice sorting, you know, by color, shape, and size. We would be making patterns. And again, this is in small group with a teacher or paraprofessional, just to hone in on those skills that we've been you know, practicing for the week. We also do literacy centers where we're working on letter recognition. We are working on letter sounds, letter writing. We can do that through puzzles or letter building. There's a photo here of a child who is practicing their name with Play-Doh. So using all those sensory approaches to literacy is a fun way for preschoolers to learn the letters of their name and yet be enjoying that Play-Doh and that messiness. They don't even know that they're they don't even know that they're learning because they're having so much fun. But other centers we have are like science centers and sensory centers in the classroom. And again, these are small groups where we're honing in on the topics and the themes of the week.
Great, thank you. And playtime. Playtime is another one of my favorite times of day. That is a time where children are able to play. It happens in several different ways throughout the day. Sometimes play is a very independent opportunity where students are able to make their own choices and play as they wish with who they wish, and be able to just learn those skills to make decisions, make choices, learn to cooperate, learn to share, and just use their imagination and have so much fun. Other times play is a little bit more guided, a little bit more purposeful, and that's where it's a little bit more directed by the teacher. Children have specific play activities available to them. Teachers interact, adults interact with them and guide the play in a particular direction that may relate to or go back to a concept, a social emotional learning concept that the children are learning in school, like cooperation, and the play is directed around that. Sometimes or often, as our curriculum is thematic based, we'll see our classrooms really come to life with the theme in mind. For instance, as we're doing farm to table, our dramatic play areas could become farm stands. When we were doing community helpers, our dramatic play areas and block areas could become fire stations with fire trucks. So there's all different opportunities to make play a learning opportunity, but also make it super fun and engaging for students. Outside time.
Our last one is outside, where a lot of that play happens. We have a new revamped playground outside. As you can see, the green stuff in the picture is that squishy foam, so the kids can run and be safe. We've also have a track painted around with a shed full of bikes and riding toys and all kinds of things that the kids can enjoy and really work on their motor skills. It's a great social time outside. Kids can, choose to be independent and play with things that they want outside, like play on the swings or chalk or ride a bike, or there's opportunities with staff out there for social time. Kids can play a beanbag game or play catch or you know, kicking balls into the net and working on turn taking skills and stuff outside. But we have a lot of accessories to go in our park, and the kids love it out there.
Yeah, it's a good time. Thank you. Okay, this brings us to next steps. Next steps are to register. You know, here's the link that you would go to register your child. You would go to that link, and that brings you to the early learning programs registration page. And as you scroll down, you will find, you know, where to click on this button. It brings you to the packets. It brings you to all the registration information that you need. There's a great deal of information in that link, and you can find that at salemk12.org, and that will bring you right there. So I know it feels maybe like you're registering or signing your child up for college if you've attempted that packet yet, or as you do. But like I say, I guess it's good practice, and you'll be ready when they get there. So at this point, it is a time, that we will move into our questions and answer any questions that anybody might have. In the meantime, if you do need us, you can find us here at, you can find me at lsmith@salemk12.org, and you can find any of us at 978-740-1180. So that is it for our slide presentation. We do have one question that is in our question and answer. That question is, if your child is 3, is there a lottery? Can you expand more on the process of 3-year-olds? Our child is in EI now and will age out in July. Can you discuss how many students are able to enroll? Alicia, can you take that one?
Sure. So in terms of referral, when a child turns 3 and we or about to turn 3 and we receive a referral from early intervention, you can still enroll your child at the ECC if they are going to turn 3 prior to the start of the school year. So in this child's case, you can still enroll to be a student at the ECC, because it's not always definite that the child's going to be eligible for special education services upon transitioning from early intervention to the public school. So we would still complete an evaluation if I have received the referral from EI. The team would still evaluate in the area of concern or the area of need, and then make a determination of whether or not the child is eligible for special education if there is a found disability. But if your child, again, is turning 3 in the summer, you can still register to be at the Early Childhood Center in this fall of 2022, excuse me. Oh gosh. And in terms of the lottery, I do believe that Leanne, and you might be able to speak more to this, there will be a lottery, and I don't remember the last piece of
So
it.
sure. So
And how
so
many
there
students,
will
sorry.
be a lottery. If your child is eligible for an IEP, I think Alicia said there's no need to enroll in the lottery. There's no need to go through that process. They'll get rolled over from EI. If your child is a peer and you are looking to register, or a typically developing peer, you're looking to register, you will go through the registration process. That next, that there is the same registration process for a 3-year-old as there is for a 4-year-old going into pre-K. Call us, please, though, if you have any questions. The next question is, can you talk a bit more about half-day preschool? For instance, are those students in the same room as full day, or is it a separate class? So typically it's a separate class. Next year, all of our 4-year-old classrooms, our pre-K classrooms, will be full day. We will have some half-day classrooms for 3-year-olds. If you have a 4-year-old and for whatever reason you feel strongly that your child may need to be in a half-day program, We want to be flexible and support you and give your child what you need. So I would ask in that case that you would reach out to us, and you can chat with me, and we can, talk through the process and figure out what's best for your child.
Can I piggyback off that too, Leanne?
Sure thing. Yep.
So in terms of this question regarding the half day, so right now we do have students, peers, for example, that are staying half day in a classroom where there are children that stay the full day. The students that do stay the full day are in the afternoon, and they are not with peers. It's based on their specific needs. They're students with disabilities. They're on an IEP, and their IEP calls for a full day, but they are not. This is what we currently have right now. So if you're thinking about what we might have for next year, it's possible too that model will still be there, where just peers are in half day, and then some students with disabilities, given their amount of therapy that they may have and other reasons, are staying a full day.
Our goal is really to give your child what your child needs, and target not just instruction, but be as flexible as possible. Like I said, the standard plan for next year is 4-year-olds will be full day 8:30 to 2:30. There will be one 3-year-old class that is 8:30 to 2:30, and then 3-year-old classes for typically developing peers from 8:30 to 11 o'clock. And then that would go full day for the remainder of students on IEPs. The next question is, are 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds in the same class? Next year, no, ideally no. You might hear that this year we do have 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds in the same class. We are moving to avoid that. We feel that it's better for us to focus on targeted instruction when we have our 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds in separate classes. And the next question, hi, this is one of my favorite questions. I love it. Has there been any discussion about extended day and the hours? Yes, there's been a lot of discussion around extended day. My understanding is that there will be an opportunity for extended day for pre-K students next year. I am not sure where, but I think given the fact that we have sort of the majority of our preschool classrooms, pre-K classrooms here at the Early Childhood Center, I'm hopeful that this is where they would choose to house it. So fingers crossed, it is looking positive for an extended day next year. Next question, is there bilingual teaching in the classroom? It's a really great question. As some of you may know, the Early Childhood Center is sort of nestled in with the Bentley School, which is a bilingual dual language school. Right now, no, there is not bilingual teaching in the classroom, but it's something we talk about. So it's not out of the question. It's a great question. Any other questions? No other questions? Okay. Again, please make sure that you have my email right here. It's lsmith@salemk12.org. Please make sure you have our phone number. It's 978-740-1180. Please, I encourage you to reach out with any questions, concerns, thoughts, anything that you want to chat about. If you call, you'll get Myra. She'll be happy to direct you to whatever your needs are, whether you want to speak to the nurse. We do have a counselor on staff. If you feel like that's somebody that you want to talk to. If you have concern about special education, that would be Alicia. And then you can certainly reach out to me for any and all questions, and I would be more than happy to direct you. So again, I Looks like did another question just
Yeah,
pop
there's
up?
one more question, Leanne, just to
Great.
confirm.
Is
it's
it free?
free.
And I love this question. I love this answer. And it's yes, it's free. The program is free. It's the best news we get to give to people. Yes, right now the program is free. So yeah, it's a good thing. I'll give people a minute if people want to, if any other questions should arise. But yes, like I said, we're here to support this process that can feel a little daunting. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. I know this may have seemed like a lot of information, but we're excited to share it with you. We can't wait to meet you. There will be tours coming up March 9th, the week of March. I think it's the week of March 6th. That you'll have an opportunity to come in and tour the building. So we'll be so excited to see you, and hopefully that will just be a nice opportunity for you to see the place where your child will be going, meet the people. All right. So at this point, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you all soon. And take care. All right, let me stop sharing. Here we are. Okay. Thank you all very much. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks,
All
Leanne.
right. Bye. Thank
Myra,
you.
Thank you, Myra.
Okay.
Bye,
See ya.
guys.